Alright, hi everybody, my name is Robert Schwartz. This is a new episode of Muffin Talk. Muffin Talk is a show where I eat a muffin. Okay, so now that we're familiar with the premise of the show, today's muffin, or today's episode, is brought to you by Banana Nut. Today's coffee is brought to you by Peet's Coffee. Peet's Coffee. Peet's Coffee. Same price as Starbucks, but it doesn't taste like urine. I don't have that much of a problem with Starbucks coffee. Starbucks coffee is okay. Every episode of Muffin Talk begins with the unwrapping of the muffin. Oh god, this looks so good. Wish you guys were here right now. Wait, no I don't, because then I'd have to share some muffin with you. Wish me luck. Oh man, that's so good. I love banana nut muffins. This first episode of Muffin Talk, excuse me. How embarrassing. First episode of Muffin Talk, I'm going to talk about health and fitness. Health and fitness, you might ask. Why? Because I want to talk about it. Thanks for asking. How rude. Who are you? I'd like to talk about health and fitness for a bit. About this much. I used to be a personal trainer, so I know a little bit about this subject. I feel like I was a pretty good personal trainer. I high-fived a lot of people. I gave a lot of positive reinforcement. Happy tears. I feel like I did a pretty good job. But what was interesting to me is, being a personal trainer, you see all sorts of body types. And before that, when I was just concerned about my own health and fitness, I only knew my body type. So it made me learn something, and it made me understand that there's a lot of bad information out there, and there's a lot of misconceptions. When you see like an advertisement for P90X, and it's some jack dude, and he's like, and he lifts his shirt and he points to his abs, and he's like, "This could be you!" That's not true. Because it can't be everybody. Not everyone can be that jacked. With that into consideration, your body only has a specific window of how much that you can successfully change your body type. And it differs from person to person. You know, sometimes you can see somebody who's very scrawny and their window for improvement is just whoa, and then suddenly 9 months later they're just jacked out of their mind. They look like The Rock. But it's different for everybody. And this is another reason why people are looking at exercise and diet all wrong. Because, again, they think that everything is possible. They see a guy who's jacked out of his mind and started at the same place that you started, and you can't seem to get there, and therefore you're doing something wrong. You're not doing something wrong. Again, you have a different body type. The whole mindset of fitness has to be changed from a cosmetic, aesthetic perspective to how can I reach my full potential and maintain that. Because once you hit that plateau, once you get to that spot, everything that you're doing after that, you can't push yourself past this window without like steroids or some insane supplement. That's you've reached your potential. There's actually a chemical that your body produces, and when it's all used up, you literally cannot produce any more muscle. Like, Arnold Schwarzenegger was big, but he just didn't continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger through the years until he was just like an enormous one single Austrian muscle. Like, he did stop. Like, he worked out and then he reached his potential, which was like enormous, but he stopped growing because his peak was just incredibly high versus like the average person. He's a freak of nature. The average person can't get nearly that big. So once you hit that peak, you have to just maintain that. And once you're there and you're maintaining it, then you're the healthiest that you can be. And that's the aim, or what should be the aim of health and fitness. Not how can I look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, how can I get a thigh gap, how can I have the same body as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, because that's so unrealistic. That's like saying, how can I be as tall as Michael Jordan? That doesn't even make sense, because your body hits a place where you're done growing, and you don't grow anymore. You can't do shin lifts and extend your shins so that you get taller. It's the same thing. It is literally the same thing. I want to just drill this into people's heads, because I know a lot of people, even personally and myself, who they've reached a plateau and they've tried to bust through it. And you'll see it in all the health magazines on how to break the plateau. And it's not really a thing. I mean, there's a time where you'll get to a plateau, and then you can sort of push through it, but you're not gonna just blow through that ceiling. You'll probably improve a little bit here and there, and that's because you'll be working all those plateau busting exercises and exercise routines. They have you work more muscles and different exercises. And then once you're recruiting those other muscles that you've been ignoring on your previous exercise routine, it does seem that you've gotten stronger. Because you have, but you know what I mean. It's more of you have even more well-rounded strength. So again, that should be your concern. How can I become the strongest that I can be? And not how can I look like some other completely different creature. And the same goes for losing weight. Or if you haven't exercised and you started exercising, you started lifting, you can see improvement. If you're consistent, you can see improvement within 3 weeks. Easy. You really can. Especially if you're keeping track of it and you're measuring. It's that fast because your body is still within the window of its potential. When they first start exercising, again, 3 weeks, you start looking leaner, you see a little bit less in your face, you start to your silhouette changes, your clothes fit better. Then after a while, 3 weeks you feel the change, 3 months you still see change, you hit that year point and you've been consistent, you've been eating very well, and you don't seem to be losing any more weight. That's when people start thinking unhealthy. I have to eat less, I have to eat less, I have to eat less. And nothing changes. And then when you do start losing weight because you're starving yourself so much, the reason why you actually continue losing weight is because you've damaged yourself so much hormonally that you're losing weight in a very unhealthy process. Like you're losing weight because you're sick now. Like you're actually ill. And you're losing weight because essentially you're dying. You're dying, you're hurting yourself to that point where you're just becoming emaciated. Okay, and then at that point you start having even organ failure, you start having all sorts of insane complications, and that's not worth it. The whole point in the beginning was for you to be healthy, and now you're not healthy at all. You probably feel like shit, and probably should seek some help. So I just want you to understand that every body type is different, everyone has a different window of potential. And what you should do is not think about what you can do to look like someone else, because that person is a completely different entity. You have your own set window of potential, and when you reach that ceiling, you have to maintain that. And when you do that and you're in that realm and you're eating right and you're at the peak of your health, I'm telling you, you will feel incredible. And that's really the point. You want to feel good. And if you feel good, you'll be happy and you'll live a better life.